Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and tonight I am excited to bring a matchup of Division C West. We're going to see the Ana Maniacs go up against Clouded Minds in a best-of-3 series. Ana Maniacs are off to a red-hot start this season. They have only had one match of theirs not be a domination victory, and they're looking to extend their current 3-match win streak, all of which are dominations. On the other side, we've got Clouded Minds, who are looking to punch above their weight class. They've done so at least once thus far this season, going up against Seb, and who is currently ahead of them in the standings and claiming the victory there. Speaking of standings, we can take a quick look there. And as mentioned, the Ana Maniacs off to a hot start, and it shows here in second place. Clouded Minds not too far out of the race, certainly in contention for playoffs here. And having defeated Seb before, they are no strangers to taking on opponents ahead of them in the standings, which is pretty exciting stuff. Let's take a look at our Battleground draft to see where we're headed for Game 1. We had Ana Maniacs winning the coin toss and opting for first pick with map bans on Towers of Doom and Battlefield of Eternity for Ana Maniacs, and Tomb of the Spider Queen and Dragonshire for Clouded Minds. So Clouded Minds have opted to bring us to Braxis Holdout for Game 1. A Battleground pretty seldom seen in NGS, but one that offers a lot of interesting rotational play in an organized fashion. I think it's a very polarizing battleground for Storm League players as well. I know some folks really just can't stand it, but the 4-1 split where you kind of just hope that your offlaner wins the 1v1 duel in top lane is not as common an occurrence in an organized setting. We're a lot more likely to see heroes with strong rotational capabilities, your Falstads, your Brightwings, even heroes like Genji and sometimes Valera can show up on the Battleground, which is pretty exciting stuff. So I'll be interested to see how these teams approach the draft as well as the Battleground. And it looks like we've got the first lobby up, so let's get into it. Our first draft. So with first pick, Ana Maniacs will get to narrow the pool first. Having done a little bit of scouting on Clouded Minds, it looks like they've got a pretty strong preference for Anduin, Blaze, and Anubarak. So I'll be interested to see if the Ana Maniacs try and target those picks here in the early phase of the draft, or if they're more interested in kind of narrowing those tech picks that I mentioned that are more Battleground specific, such as Genji and Brightwing. There's the Stukov ban, a pretty popular healer for Clouded Minds. I think they're second most picked after Anduin. So, not a bad grab. Malthael, the ban from Clouded Minds. A pretty popular choice of Ana Maniacs. One of their highest played heroes to date this season. So it feels like a little bit of a niche ban, but it is absolutely targeted at Ana Maniacs' hero pool. Next up, I'd be interested to see if there isn't another healer ban here, kind of narrowing that pool further. It's going to be the Anubarak instead. As mentioned, Clouded Mines have really favored the Beetle, King of the Nerubians? I don't know. Help me out, WoW people. Johanna, the response from Clouded Mines, and here's the first pick for Ana Maniacs. They've got a lot of options open to them. They have shown some priority for Falstad, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that picked up here. The Global is an excellent asset to have on a battleground like Braxis, being able to shift the balance on the two lanes. Vala is going to be the first pick. Not surprising either, a really strong hero in her own right, perhaps one of the most contested assassins across our league. So picking her up in the first slot really keeps your draft rather flexible. Clouded Mines to respond here. They're going to go with the Blaze and Junkrat. All right, Junkrat, a great pickup given all of the point control his kit brings. And Blaze, a pretty flexible pick. You could go main tank Blaze here. Traitor King of the Nerubian Empire. Thank you, Valcomer. ETC and Anduin. All right, so a bit of a deny pick with that Anduin. And ETC, also a possible flex pick. We could see an off-lane ETC with Stage Dive. No heal, or yeah, they haven't opted for Ana. Ana is something that Ana Maniacs sometimes will pick up, opting instead for the Anduin as a deny onto Clouded Mines. We'll see if there is an assassin ban. It's going to be Li Ming. Not so surprising. Something that Ana Maniacs have had a fair bit of success with thus far in their season. Although perhaps less appealing a choice for them with Anduin locked in rather than Ana. The Ana Ming and Ana Malthael combos are both pretty versatile, pretty strong. We do still need a healer for Clouded Mines, and so we're going to see another ban on that role, Rhaegar getting taken out. So Stukov and Rhaegar, both really strong throughput healers, really kind of narrowing the options that Clouded Mines have for healing throughput down in a 4-hero scuffle. There, of course, are still options available to them. They could go with the Deckard, which offers a... Oh, it's going to be Brightwing instead. Okay, great. Brightwing is always a good choice for the battleground, given the global shift once again. And Tychus, pretty versatile themselves, bringing that percent damage, pretty good frontline shred. Asmodan, okay, not what I would have expected. And Rexxar, the king of Braxis as well as Dragonshire. Misha able to hold the point while Rexxar clears the wave. It's a pretty big advantage. So we'll see how Clouded Mines choose to respond. It may be a main tank pick here with Blaze in the offlane, but it's instead going to be Leoric picked up. All right. So likely to see the Leo go into the offlane against Rexxar. But let's take a closer look at these drafts here. Vala, Asmodan, Junkrat, Tychus. Interesting damage structure. I think Junkrat offers a fair bit of poke damage, but Anduin's healing sustain for Ana Maniacs could be pretty solid. I am a bit concerned about ETC's health pool being kind of narrow. Tychus is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on our elite Tauren chieftain. So Anduin's going to have to be pretty on the button with their save tools for our favorite cow of the Nexus. We'll see how it goes as we get into game number 1, when we can introduce our teams. Here on the left, we've got Ana Maniacs, Sir Watson on Anduin, Sodium on ETC, Django playing Vala, Brickets on Rexxar, and Asmodon Trump playing Asmodan. And to the right in red, we've got Clouded Minds. Muffin Man playing Brightwing, Ruffian on Junkrat, Juggerob on Leoric, Kian on Blaze, and Terrorsaur playing Tychus. As we get into our first part of the game, we can see a little bit of a non-standard lane split. Clouded Minds prepping for a potential lane swap from Ana Maniacs, who are set up in a traditional 4-1. Bot and top. Level 1 talents, we've got Prog Rock for ETC, looking to collect globes. Gluttony from Asmodan, getting extra annihilation based on Hero's Hit. And Kian, the main tank Blaze, has opted for new habits at level 1. Auto attack Vala, so Django looking to stack autos with Creed of the Hunter. And a pretty tame first wave of the game. A little bit of poke damage going on to Sodium there. Kian already up to 3 globes towards the 15 required for their Unstoppable quest. Checking in on top, Juggerob seems to be taking a fair bit of poke from Brickets. Rexar being ranged puts a fair bit of pressure onto Leoric, but it looks like Leo's doing a decent job putting pressure on Rexar's main body as well. Points are available for contests now. We have that first siege camp going over to Clouded Mines with Ana Maniacs responding on the bot side. So it looks like Rexar is going to take a little bit of time to cap that top point, but Ana Maniacs will get the first progress for the Zerg here if Juggerob is able to fend Micha off. He is. Alright, so 2 camps to 1 favoring Clouded Mines here. This being their battleground selection, it's not surprising to see them kind of taking command of it here in the early going. And we've got Vala having rotated all the way up to top lane. So both teams doing a great job balancing these 2 points, making sure that no one gets too much progress in either direction. That kind of subtle ballet that is Rax's foldout. Of course, the push potential here in bot lane for Clouded Mines is decent with the camp at their backs. A stun goes on to 2 here. Sodium able to peel a bit, but oh, a great boop catches Django out. No body blocks available, however, so Kian is taking a lot of damage thanks to the towers, Sodium as well, both main tanks taking a lot of punishment there. And it looks like Juggerob has wrested top point from Brickets. So first Zerg progress going over to Clouded Mines now. Another big 2-person stun. Kian catches Sodium. They are able to make it out sub 100 HP there. And Terrorsaur trades with Django. Level 4s on both sides. We've got Hunter-Gatherer for Rexar. The Censure talent, Piercing Light for Anduin. Taste for Explosions from Ruffian. And In the Rhythm for Terrorsaur. So lots of scaling, stacking talents here at level 4. Kian receives the phase shift, but they're taking a lot of damage from Django here. Sodium falling low as Zerg progress once again starts to count up in favor of Clouded Mines. On the top side, Juggerob doing an excellent job fending off the Rexar. And that's going to do it for the first objective of the game, going over to Clouded Mines. And they're doing a great job rotating up to match their push. Something that you really love to see any successful team on this battleground do. If you've won a full 100% Zerg wave, getting as much push with it as you can, rotating as much of your team up to it as possible, is going to be your highest value play most times. Of course, Ana Maniacs have a decent amount of wave clear behind them, but Asmodon Trump is low on mana there, so they don't have as much as they might otherwise like. Level 7 talents just around the corner here. And it looks like we've got Sticky Wicket Alright, so silencing traps for the Junkrat. Ruffian trying to add a little bit more lethality to any of their steel traps. On the other side, we've got Aspect of the Beast from Rexar opting for, I believe that's cooldown reduction on Misha stuns? Yes, so they're going to have more Misha charge available to them. And after the first Zerg wave is complete, we can see the entire front wall and a little bit of damage going on to the fort. Most of bot fort wall is safe for Clouded Mines. Misha going down and checking in on top. Juggerab is playing it safe. Asmodon Trump and Sodium fending the Leoric off of that wave, but it's giving Clouded Mines lots of room here in bot lane to finish off this front tower. So increasing the distance that they can chase heroes. Brickets booped in by Ruffian, a fantastic use of the Junkrat boop, and Sir Watson spent the Leap of Faith. So that is going to be on full cooldown. We've got the new Habits quest completed by Blaze here, right at 6 minutes. An excellent pace for that Unstoppable on the Pyromania trait. And Juggerab, after having received that phase shift from Muffin Man, is happy to trade aggressively with the beefy bodies of Asmodon Trump and Sodium. Of course, a 4-hero commitment means that Muffin Man and Juggerab will get pushed back, but they're going to make it out alive. And without a rotation from Clouded Mines, Ana Maniacs are able to get a lot of progress here. Django booped in again. Ruffian, an absolute menace with these concussive mines. So about half of the fort in top lane goes down. And it's a full 5-hero commitment from Clouded Mines. They're looking for Django. They are booped over again. Sodium is the one to fall, however. 2 kills to 0, and that's heroic talents online for Clouded Mines. We've got Blink Heal, Bunker Drop, Commandeer Odin, Riptire, and Entomb. On the bot side, we've got Juggerab contesting the point once again, dealing with Misha as best they can. Brickets trying to keep as much time off of the clock as possible for Clouded Mines Zerg Wave. Heroics on both sides now. It's Power Word Salvation, Holy Word Salvation, Holy Word Salvation, Mosh Pit, Rain of Vengeance, Unleash the Boars, and Tide of Sin. So there's the stun onto Asmodon Trump, and the bunker goes down. The pull onto Sodium for safety. Sir Watson pops the Holy Word Shield, and that's a mosh onto 2. No ability. Oh, what a great use of the Unstoppable. New Habits coming in clutch there, but it's Brightwing and Blaze who go down nonetheless after the 2-hero mosh. Of course, on the bot side, we have had a lot of progress getting made on the bot fort. Ruffian will fall to the last auto from Brickets, so 3 kills in quick succession for Ana Maniacs means they're probably going to take down this top fort while Sodium gets on to bot point, and that'll start up their Zerg progress as well. I think Leoric trades pretty favorably into Sodium here, but that doesn't mean they can't stand their ground for as long as possible and get a fair bit of Zerg progress. Kian has made it back to top lane, and Asmodon Trump has Hearth back, so this is a 3v3 here. With Ruffian joining in, Misha will go down. The Boars were unleashed, and there is the bunker drop as well. Quick work being made of that bunker by Django here. Kian gets the phase shift, and Juggerab gets an excellent flank here onto Asmodon. Terrorsaur is able to follow up with the Commandeer Odin, and that's going to secure the next bit of Zerg progress for Clouded Mines. Misha's stun lands onto Juggerab and Muffin Man, but some great oil slick. Oh, Kian gets the stun. An unfortunate fate for the Blaze. Of course, 96% on the Zerg wave is nothing to sneeze at. So Clouded Minds are have to be pretty happy with their progress thus far. Of course, with the kill disparity as it is, Animaniacs are taking the lead here, both on hero kills and experience. Bricket's taking a lot of damage now from Juggerob, who does have the Entomb back up and available, so Brickets is going to have to play it safe here on the bot side. It looks like they're going to Hearth back. Kian has respawned, and it looks like level 13s are now online for Animaniacs. We've got Encore for Sodium looking for cooldown reduction on their Heroic. Tempered by Discipline. Okay, auto attack healing for Django on the Vala. Dire Beast for Misha, opting for both cooldown reduction and increased damage on the Misha stun. Kian stepping back up to contest this point, but a little hesitant to get too far ahead of themselves before 13s are online. Looks like we've got Sodium and a few of Animaniacs coming down, looking for the kill onto Juggerob. They will get the kill, but Leoric will be back relatively soon. So it looks like Animaniacs are here in full force to defend. They've got Sir Watson here on the top side. No healing available for Animaniacs, and they're looking to get aggressive onto the boy King of Stormwind. Misha's coming in for a stun, and it looks like Sir Watson will make it out alive. Checking back in, Juggerob has respawned on the bot side, and there is still a fair bit of HP left on this Zerg wave. This bot fort likely to go down here, so it is a fort on each side for Clouded Minds and Animaniacs. Misha lands another stun. Kian responds, but altogether everyone is just saying hello, dropping a little bit of CC on them here and there. With level 13s online, it is a W build for Leoric, opting for Unyielding Despair at 13, offering a lot of cooldown reduction on their Drain Life. Other 13s of note, gotta trap them all, so now Ruffian is able to put out 2 steel traps on the battleground, both of which silence thanks to that level 7 Sticky Wicket. So they're able to command a lot of area on the battleground here. Juggerob scouts Sodium's rotation here, gets the Mosh, or the Entomb. Mosh Pit lands onto 2, but is polymorphed. ETC falling low, Juggerob dies on the other side of the fight. A quick interrupt means Sir Watson does not have too much channel on that Heroic. Kian looking for another stun, lands it on the Django. Another boop from the Junkrat. Ruffian doing an excellent job there. Sir Watson does have the pull to save the Vala, however. So Kian is going to have to back up with very little HP left. So it is a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but nonetheless, Leoric spawns a little bit faster than ETC here. Of course, on the top side, no one has dealt with this push. So we've got Leoric and Ruffian both earthing back and walking back to take care of that camp. Level 16 is just around the corner for Animaniacs. We can see that's thanks once again largely to their hero kill experience advantage. 6-4 in the kill count there. Level 16, and Sir Watson has opted for Inner Focus rather than Glyph of Faith. They will remain with 1 charge of their Leap of Faith trait. So Sir Watson has it on cooldown. It'll be tricky for them. A Great Entomb catches Brickets, but they use the Feign Death. There is another interrupt onto Holy Word Shield. Brickets falling low. Sodium able to save the rest of the team with some great, not loudspeaker, the one where you boop them, whatever the ETC boop's called. And it leaves the amp now that it's 13. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Face Melt? It's called Face Melt. I'm confident. All right, anyway. 5 hero commitment here on the bot side from Clouded Minds. we've got Brickets up on the top side for Ana Maniacs. And level 16s are online for both sides. Juggerab committing here, but gets moshed. The mosh is interrupted by the polymorph, but Juggerab falls low nonetheless. The HP trade not favoring Clouded Minds thanks to Django's level 16 Manticore. They're able to pepper in a lot of damage here, and there's the rotation from Brickets. Juggerab is going to go down here, but it looks like the rest of Clouded Minds will make it out. So with that Rexar rotation, that should start the channel on this next Zerg wave, the third of the game, and it's scaling up pretty strong here, past the 15-minute mark. With the Zerg coming into bot lane, getting this fort down would be a huge coup for Ana Maniacs. They're looking for a kill, but in the end, the Riptire only lands onto one. Asmodon Trump saved by a great heroic from Sir Watson, who gets booped in. Ruffian once again targeting the vulnerable heroes, but Kian taken out by Django on the top side. Juggerab slowing down. Oh, Muffin Man goes down on the top side. Sodium falls very low, but in the end will die. So it is 4 for nothing in that engagement, and a full Zerg wave going over to the Ana Maniacs. Ruffian is a majority of Clouded Minds clear here, so it's not bad. You know, if you had to have one person left alive, you would want it to be Junkrat. But certainly I imagine Clouded Minds would be much happier if they had a little more to back Ruffian up here. Ruffian able to boop in Asmodon Trump, who draws the fort aggro at the same time. But it looks like Junkrat is going to have to back all the way up after a huge dunk from the Asmodan. So bot keep goes down. Anduin has respawned. Zergwave still rather healthy here as the respawns come in for Clouded Minds. We'll see if Ana Maniacs are interested in putting any additional pressure here on the core. But with Brickets committing to top lane, working on the rest of that wall, it's safe to assume that they are going to back up, try and collect their storm talents here, cap these enemy side mercenary camps as quickly as possible. This is pre-20, so it's the best opportunity that Clouded Minds are going to have for an even Talontier fight. Juggerab still dealing with the waves at the core means that it's a pretty late rotation in from Clouded Minds. Misha's taking a lot of damage, but Django is peppering Kian down here. And there is a huge mosh pit. Excellent interrupt once again from Ruffian. The Entomb catches none. Pterosaur able to get out with just a little bit of HP, and the camp once again going over to Ana Maniacs. With camp pressure on both sides and storm talents on their side, Ana Maniacs are going to get aggressive, rip this boss. This boss will go to top lane. It follows the same lane logic as the Immortals on BOE. So with Storm Talents, I'd love to see them push in with this boss. Hopefully Brickets will be back in action on time to support this push. And still about a full level away from Storm Talents for Clouded Minds. I would love to see at least one hero from Clouded Minds in bot lane soaking up, and them committing this far out for the defense is going to be pretty dangerous. Sir Watson looking for a route. There is the kill command from Brickets. The Unstoppable from Kian will get them out alive, but they're down below 50% HP, and the boss is still very healthy. Still about half level away from Storm Talents for Clouded Minds. Pterosaur is falling low. Muffin Man caught by another slide. Juggerab goes down. Kian falling low themselves. Drops the bunker, but it's not going to do too much to save them. The boss is onto the core, and the core has already been damaged. There's the rest of the core shielding, and Vala is unfettered, able to outrange the keep with her level 20 Farflight, and that's going to do it for Game 1. Going over to Ana Maniacs. GG and well played. All right, so game one, the battleground selection of Clouded Mines ends up going in favor of Ana Maniacs. I was pretty convinced with how Ruffian and Juggerrob were doing in the early game there that Clouded Mines had the special sauce for their battleground selection, but in the end, Ana Maniacs were able to scale up very well with the Azmodan and Vala and take it to Clouded Mines. Let's take a look at our post-game stats. We can see Azmodan ended up top of the lobby there, 73,000 damage. I'm sorry, top of Ana Maniacs at least. Pterosaur was the one with the most damage out of any in the lobby. Checking in on our builds one more time, we saw a pretty stellar use of Feign Death from Ricketts after getting caught in the Entomb there. Anything else stand out to me? We mentioned it in the game, but Inner Focus for Anduin rather than Glyph of Faith. Something that I don't see quite as commonly, but seemed that Sir Watson was relatively comfortable with their Leap of Faith usage. Didn't feel like they needed too much else there. So that's going to do it for game one. Let's head back over to our battleground draft to see where we're going to be headed for game number 2. For those who joined the broadcast midway through game 1, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. We are seeing the second place team, Ana Maniacs, going up against Clouded Mines in 7th. It is far from a foregone conclusion as to who's going to win, of course. Clouded Mines have done plenty to punch above their weight class before, so they are potentially going to do that again this evening and take us to a third game. For game 2, we're headed to Alterac Pass, the battleground selection of Ana Maniacs, meaning that Clouded Mines opted for first pick. Excellent. I'll drop a caster R in the chat to let them know that we're all ready to get into game number 2. We should be headed into game number 2 here shortly. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's take a look for Alterac Pass. Let's think about last map, or last game's drafts. Clouded Mines Ruffian on the Junkrat showed a really strong Junkrat, so I'll be interested to see if Ana Maniacs try and ban that out here in the first rotation. A hero that is excellent for the battleground, given the vision that Steel Trap and Concussion Mine can give of the objective point and all of the safe stalls available to the hero with their frag launcher. But it looks like both teams thus far are happy to keep the bans the same, Malthael and Stukov, as in game 1. Clouded Mines do not want to see Ana Maniacs pick up that Malthael. They are, I believe, undefeated on it thus far this season. And there's the Johanna ban as well. A strong hero, scales well, probably one of the best early pick tanks in the current meta. We'll see how Ana Maniacs look to respond here, if they're going to swap up the bans. I believe they opted for the Anubarak ban last game, who is also an excellent choice here on Alterac Pass. They will stick with the Anubarak bans. So, same bans. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll see what Clouded Minds feel is the most important hero for them to lock in for Alterac Pass now. We could see them pick away the Vala. I don't think they've shown too much priority on it, but after Django's stellar performance on the hero, it would be pretty good for them to try and pick that away if possible.
It's a perfect day for some mayhem.
Looks like they're going to play to their strengths instead. Junkrat picked up by Ruffian once again. And I think it makes a lot of sense. As mentioned, Junkrat is an excellent hero for the Battleground, and Ruffian had some really strong concussion mine usage. So, not too strange to see the Junkrat go in the first slot. Varian Sylvanas, okay. Varian, always an interesting early pick in my mind, given his multi-class classification. Whenever I see Varian, I expect it to be Taunt, but last time I expected to see a Taunt Varian, it ended up being main tank Twin Blades Varian. So, once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the meta is not solved if you're creative enough to pick Twin Blades main tank Varian. Anduin and Greymane. Okay. So, Greymane, kind of an excellent response to the Sylvanas in my mind. Sylvanas, of course, opening up a lot of split pushing opportunities thanks to her trait, which can be a very potent strategy here on Alterac Pass. But Greymane is no slouch on the siege damage themselves. I believe the highest auto attack DPS is Worgen with Inner Beast active. It might be Pilot Diva. Stats folks know. I certainly don't. Hogger banned out, and Deckard banned out. Hogger, the, I think, probably favorite offlaner for the Battleground with how quickly they can grab the Null camp, the all-important Null camp here on Alterac. Offlane and healer still required for Ana Maniacs, as well as a flex pick. They have had some success with more traditional mages, so I'll be interested to see, with Li Ming available to them, if they don't want to pair that with the Varian. Alright, Leoric and Brightwing. Leo scales well into the late game. Alterac frequently goes late, and Brightwing brings an excellent global presence to such a large battleground. Last two selections here for Clouded Minds, offlane and main tank, both yet to grab. We could see a Yrel, we could see a Diablo. It's going to be Blaze Garrosh. Blaze, an excellent hero, and this time most likely to be in the offlane, because I don't think offlane Garrosh is the new hotness. That's just a guess. Last pick here for Django, or I should say Ana Maniacs. It's gonna be the Raynor. Awesome. So Raynor, not the most popular hero in NGS, but one that Ana Maniacs have shown a great deal of preference for thus far in the season. I think they've played 5 games of Raynor, one of their highest chosen heroes thus far. So these two drafts, there's not a lot of blow-up damage behind the Varian taunt for Ana Maniacs, which strikes me as a little bit of a mismatch. Greymane and Junkrat definitely synergize really well with the front line of Clouded Minds. Blaze and Garrosh both are going to serve Sylv or Raynor up on a silver platter, potentially even getting a Wrecking Ball into a Steel Trap. So I really like Clouded Minds' draft here. We'll see if they can take us to a Game 3 with a victory here on Alterac Pass. But of course, that's only going to happen if the win happens, and they're going to have to play the game to figure that one out. So let's introduce our teams as we get into game number 2. We've got Sir Watson on Leoric, Sodium playing Varian, Django on Raynor, Asmodon Trump on Brightwing, and Brickets playing Sylvanas, your blue team Ana Maniacs. And to the right in red, we've got Clouded Minds. Muffin Man playing Anduin, Ruffian on Junkrat, Terrorsaur playing Greymane, Kian on Garrosh, and Juggerob playing Blaze. As we get into the first wave of the game, we can see a bit of a Black Arrow's split push strategy already set up by Animaniacs. Clouded Minds are prepared for it, however. They've split Ruffian down here to the bottom. They are unable to get the boop onto Sodium or Brickets, however, and so a fair bit of damage onto this bot fort wall bot tower. Level 1 talents, we've got Exterminator from Django, Lion's Maw for Sodium, looking to stack up the CC that Varian has available to them. Kian has opted for Unrivaled Strength, so the extra long Wrecking Ball toss. And Brickets, once again, doing as much as they can to get split push value on the Sylvanas choice. 1 minute on the clock marks the spawn of those null camps, and we've got Terrorsaur right on time to start up the all-important camp. Django a little bit later to the party, but with the Exterminator level 1 talent, they're going to be able to rip through this camp pretty quickly. And it looks like Clouded Minds has Juggerob double soaking top and bot. A pretty tough ask, given the spacing on the lanes. First Blood going over to Clouded Minds there in bot lane. Likely a toss on the Varian there. So as mentioned, Django got to the camp later, but finished it first. Exterminator is a powerful tool for that reason. They're also able to amp up the attack speed and movement speed of these gnolls. So the wave behind Animaniacs is going to be pushing a little bit harder than Clouded Minds. Level 4 is now online, and there goes the Indomitable. Django tossed in, will not receive the phase shift in time. A great kill. Kian immediately using that level 4 Indomitable talent once it was available to them. Sodium has opted for taunt here at level 4, and Clouded Minds get a little bit of damage in response onto this mid-fort wall. So the 2-for-0 kill advantage for Clouded Minds has them ahead on experience. Objective announced here in the top lane, or in the top jungle, between top and mid. Other level 4 talents of note. Chattering Teeth. Ruffian now has traps that will chase folks around the battleground. An excellent tech pick for supporting the zoning on the prison camps there. Camp respawns and Django's right on time. With how quickly they were able to capture this camp in the first place, and how much advantage that brings them tempo-wise, I'd expect that Animaniacs will get more of those null camps out by the end of the game compared to Clouded Minds. Alright, level 7's just around the corner here. Brickets able to Haunting Wave their way to safety. And there we have it, level 7's online. Desperate Prayer from Anduin. Sticky Wicket once again for Ruffian. Oh, interesting. We've got Terrorsaur going for Incendiary Elixir, the Q quest. And Kian, once again, looking for the aggressive move onto Brickets. They're able to Haunting Wave their way to safety. It's a 5-hero commitment from Clouded Minds here in the mid lane. Double root. Oh, Django tossed over once again. Kian will be saved. Muffin Man's Leap of Faith is timely. And so another kill going over to Clouded Minds, putting them about a third of a level in the lead and securing their first objective progress for the prison camp. In bot, Ana Maniacs aren't going to just sit idle. They've decided to split push down here, able to get through one of these two bot fort towers. Juggerab doing a great job to take advantage of their level 7 nanomachine coating, slowing down the auto attack damage of the Ana Maniacs with their oil slicks. They are falling very low here. One more auto from Ricketts could do it, and oh, the last hit of the Sylvanas Q will do it. So first kill going over to Ana Maniacs, and that'll even up the experience. They lose the objective, but they get bottom fort and the kill, evening out the XP nonetheless. Sir Watson goes down on the top side. The 4-hero commitment from Clouded Mines is likely to secure this top fort, and they will probably rotate down to mid to support the rest of that push to see if they can't get more done on that mid fort. A very important structure for controlling these objective points. Clouded Mines aren't being contested on this push. Juggerab able to stall the back of Sodium there. Asmodon Trump also has to keep walking away from the Blaze. A great job from Juggerab to keep these two occupied. They'll drop the bunker, and they're likely to make it out alive, but they've done a great job to buy a lot of space for the rest of Clouded Mines. Heroics are online, Sir Watson thrown back in. So with Heroics online, what do we have? We've got Light Bomb. Ruffian has gone for Riptire once again. Go for the Throat for Darasaur. Warlord's Challenge for Kian, and Bunker Drop for Juggerab. On the other side, we've got Entomb for Leoric, Shield Wall for Varian. Ah, excellent. A Hyperion Rainer. We may end up seeing the Execute Orders at 20, given their build. Oh, an Emerald Wind. Excellent. Somewhere, Start Slow Then Taper Off is very pleased with that selection. Our NGS Div A team that favors that heroic. So a very quick boss trade, once again, thanks to the level 1 from Rainer Exterminator. And last heroic I did not mention was Mind Control for Sylph. The level 4 from Sylvanas, the Unstable Poison, means that that wave that was supporting this boss is all but annihilated in a couple button presses. And Clouded Mines are pretty far ahead here, about a half level towards their 13 talent tier. They're going to get a free clear here on this mid camp as well. But with Juggerab still down in bot lane dealing with the boss, Ana Maniacs are going to try and get aggressive here. Looks like they aren't able to find anyone, and it also means that Clouded Mines do get their siege camp out ahead of this objective. So they've got a little extra pressure in the lanes going over to in their favor, rather. Sylvanas Ricketts caught. Asmodon Trump peels with a great... What an indom! Holy cow! Kian gets the taunt. They still have all their CC available. Pterosaur tossed in, and there's the go for the throat committed. So into the fray used there. What a great indom from Kian. Dodging the mind control from Sylvanas. Absolutely amazing. A little bit of objective progress going over to Clouded Mines, but Ana Maniacs are in range to stall that out. They were able to get a very quick clear on that mid camp. So this is kind of the interesting phase of every Alterac Pass map in my mind, seeing how our teams play around these longer objective spawns. We've got Django and Asmodon Trump working on this siege camp once again, with Clouded Mines sending Juggerab up to top lane to try and soak that up. Level 13 talents, let's see what we've got. We've got auto attacks for Leoric, going for Spectral Leech. Ruffian takes a lot of damage from Ana Maniacs. They know that the Junkrat is in range for those interrupts, and they're likely to get a little bit of pushing done here with Django and Brickets, a juiced up siege camp at their back. They're going to get this fort front wall and then back up to the objective. Brickets is getting the channel. We'll see if Ruffian does not pop it. There's the Entomb. Doesn't catch any. 3 caught in the Riptire from Ruffian, but the objective channel is in favor of Clouded Mines. Stun onto 2 from Juggerob. Another miss of the Mind Control. Light Bomb doesn't connect. Sodium falling low here, able to escape away from that fort. Pterosaur is on the chase, but won't make the final selection. So the fight spread out all over the place, and it doesn't look like Clouded Mines are going to give the opportunity to stall it here. So second objective goes in favor of Ana Maniacs. Very well played by them, doing an excellent job to keep their vulnerable members safe, and of course Sodium playing on the razor's edge with their HP pool, getting a lot of value out of their level 10 selection Shield Wall, granting that protected status. So we see Clouded Mines pretty heavily represented on the bot side of the map, which is giving Ana Maniacs all the room in the world they need to get an early lead on this top fort siege. Sodium able to do a fair bit of tanking here. They've opted for Juggernaut at 13. Interesting. And Asmodon Trump has to use the phase shift to keep them up and safe. So both mid and bot lanes objectives have already been eliminated. We'll see how Clouded Mines look to approach this top lane. Seems like they're gonna send Juggernaut or Juggerob back and instead split push down here with Pterosaur's Greymane. Of course, Hyperion is a lot of siege damage. Juggerob escapes the taunt with a well-timed bunker. The Mind Control goes wide once again, and there's the rotation in from the rest of Clouded Mines. Another huge play from Kian, but they were unable to get the toss onto Asmodon Trump there. Excellent Indomitable usage from the Garrosh. Pterosaur is still plugging away here. They'll likely get caught in the Entomb if Sir Watson has anything to say about it. There's the Wraithwalk in, and that's the Entomb. Auto attack build will cut through a lot of the Greymane HP, and they're now in perfect position to take out this boss. They're going to make a lot quicker work of it than Clouded Mines are here on the top side, because they've got both of their DPS up, and Exterminator Rainer just rips through boss HP. So top keep survived, but these late game kills are really starting to snowball the map in, or the game in favor of Ana Maniacs. They're also doing a lot to keep ahead on the minion XP front. What do we have here on level 16? Anything of surprise, anything of major note? It is Glyph of Faith for Muffin Man on the Anduin. Endless Nades for Ruffian on the Junkrat. So that's going to give them even more stall potential on the objective, now announced in the top lane. And about a half-level lead for Ana Maniacs towards their Storm talents. There's still a lot of experience on the battleground available for Clouded Mines. Of course, losing the mid fort is going to put periodic Reaver pressure against them. So Clouded Mines are advantaged here in the early going of it. They're able to kind of play the patient game at this point. They don't have to make a move. The map is in their favor. waves will kind of push on their own if need be, especially if we find Django continuing to juice up those minions whenever possible. Kian pops an Indomitable, but no one is able to catch up to the rest of Ana Maniacs, so they make it out alive. And they're just Django going away at that keep. Bot keep taking a lot of damage from the Hyperion. It may go down. Oh, just narrowly escaping. How much HP? 58 HP. What a funny turn of events. 58 HP. No way. So we'll see. It looks like they've got Leoric going in for that last auto. Sir Watson will secure that keep. So even more map pressure in favor of Ana Maniacs now. Clouded Minds have decided to commit pretty heavily here on the objective, and they've only got about 15 seconds left required for the channel. Kian tossing Brickets away. Juggerod gets the stun onto another great dodge on the mind control. Man, Brickets has not had much luck getting these connected. Kian and Juggerod both using Indomitable and Bunker to dodge the Sylvanas heroic. Even so, with the objective going over to Clouded Minds, Ana Maniacs are very close to their Storm Talents. So this is almost more of a defensive objective capture for Clouded Minds. Storm Talents just around the corner, and they're online now for Ana Maniacs. Clouded Minds might want to consider turtling up. Sir Watson on the flank here. They've got Buried Alive. So we'll see if Ana Maniacs look to turn around once this mid-objective goes down. Still a half level away from their Storm Talents. Clouded Minds are going to try and keep vision of Ana Maniacs, but avoid them as best they can. Of course, Ruffian's Steel Traps will help out a great deal in that capacity. And they've got a strong push here in the bot lane. It looks like Ana Maniacs are more interested in attacking the mid keep than defending their bot keep. It is execute orders for Django on the Rainer, so a potential double Hyperion. But as far as the base race is concerned, Clouded Minds are well up far ahead. 2 keeps down, only 6,000 HP left on the core, and it looks like they're going to do it. That's going to end the game. GG and well played to Clouded Minds. We are going to game number 3 for the series. A tough late game call from Ana Maniacs means that Clouded Minds' patient game, playing for their Storm Talents and avoiding the flank from Sir Watson, nets them the win here, bringing the series 1-1. I cannot praise Kian and Juggerob's dodging of the mind control enough. It was absolutely nuts. So really well done to them. Also, some excellent macro decisions from Clouded Minds, seeing them split off and take structures, understanding that Ana Maniacs can likely do the same. You never want to find out that they're stealing your base and then go try to respond to it if your siege damage is comparable. By the time you get there, they'll have left. It's a losing trade. So if your siege damage is comparable, sticking with the siege and trading buildings is definitely the correct play. So great to see Clouded Minds make that decision in the moment when it counted. Let's take a look at our stats here in the late game. Sylvanas clocking in at 25,000. Junkrat Ruffian narrowly edging them out with 25.8 thousand. It's not 0.8. I don't do math. Got an arts degree, folks. What do you want from me? We can check in on our builds as well. Asmodon Trump showing some pretty strong plays with the Emerald Wind, an excellent peel mechanic. For a draft that doesn't really have too much in the way of saves. Leoric and Varian both don't have too many tools for peeling away a Blaze or Garrosh. So a strong tech pick, also great boss control. Not a bad showing for that heroic. Kian will never know what their favorite level 20 Garrosh talent is. Perhaps if they join us for an interview, if they're on the winning side in the post-game, we can check in with them. But in the meantime, and in between times, we can take a look at our Battleground draft as we get set up for game number 3. I believe this is the first series I've gotten to cast this season that has gone the full 3 games. I'm always excited to get in a full series. More HOTS is the right amount of HOTS in my mind, both to play and to view. So it's great to see Clouded Minds bring it back. They were undeterred after their defeat on Braxis. It's also interesting to me to see that both teams were defeated on their Battleground selection. First pick looking like the deciding factor in these games. We'll see where we're headed for our game number 3. It looks like we are headed to Volskaya Foundry as chosen by Clouded Minds. Excellent. Let's think about Volskaya Foundry and what heroes we've seen thus far played on both sides. Sylvanas showed up in our last game on Alterac. Not a bad hero for Volskaya as a battleground, able to juice up all of the turrets thanks to her Mercenary Queen level 4. Ruffian may go for the hat trick, playing Junkrat here. Another strong pick for the battleground, giving vision and area control of the objective points, but also the very important healing, what is that called? Biotic emitter camp. It offers not only the biotic emitter item, but also a great deal of experience. So it can be a good way to get ahead of your opponents towards the next talent tier. Varian, we could see another Varian selection here. We could also see another Blaze pickup. Clouded Minds have shown both the offlane and main tank Blaze flavors. So I'll be interested to see if they continue to prioritize the Fire Bat. And once again, I imagine we're going to see the same bans in Game 3 as we did in Game 2. So Stukov and Anubarak for Ana Maniacs. Although, were I on the side of Ana Maniacs, I think I would swap the Anubarak ban for the Junkrat ban. I think Ruffian's been showing a great deal of prowess on the hero, and Anubarak isn't necessarily the best front line to have on Volskaya Foundry, given their lower HP pool. They don't do as good a job playing footsie on the objective and kind of making space for their DPS. They're a lot more rotational and pick-oriented, which doesn't necessarily favor them. So we'll see if Ana Maniacs make that adjustment here with their second ban. Clouded Minds sticking to their guns on that Malthael ban. So we'll see if Ana Maniacs still fear the bug more than the mouse. The trash mouse. It's gonna be Blaze instead. Alright. Clouded Minds have been doing a great job with the Blaze, and given their willingness to play it as both main tank and offlane, it is a very flexible choice for them. So not too surprising to see Ana Maniacs take it out there. It means that Junkrat is still available to them. It also gives them the first crack at a Nubarak bars. Their first opportunity to pick up the Anubarak. There's the Johanna ban. All right. So same bans for Clouded Minds. We'll see if Animaniacs opt for that first pick Vala once again. Django was very strong on the hero in Game 1 on Braxis. Volskaya, another battleground that's known to go late, and so a scaling hero such as Vala is an excellent option. They're going to opt for the Anduin first pick, one of the more highly contested healers between these two. And Muffin Man played an excellent Anduin last game, so not too surprising to see them pick it up. There's the Anubarak Sylvanas. You don't have to ask Clouded Minds twice to pick their favorite main tank. And Sylvanas locked in as well. So Sylvanas, once again, as mentioned, has that Mercenary Queen at level 4, and so can add a lot of DPS when the turrets get placed down by her team. Anubarak and Sylv also kind of say split push to me, so I'll be interested to see how Animaniacs respond to that, going with the Vala and ETC. Okay, so both main tanks here pretty light on hit points. Animaniacs likely still need an offlaner here. We'll see how Clouded Minds want to approach the ban. It's going to be the Asmodan ban. Okay, so Asmodon Trump showed a decent Asmodan in game number 1, and he scales well into the late game, and Volskaya certainly is known to go late, so not too surprising to see that banned out. We might have to see a different DPS duo from Animaniacs this time round. And no healer yet picked up by Clouded Minds. We will likely see another ban on that slot from Animaniacs here. Probably a Brightwing ban, if I had to guess. The Auric ban instead. Okay. Narrowing the offlane pool instead. We'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be like a Junkrat plus healer in this round. I think Junkrat would definitely round out the Sylvanas DPS, give them a bit of poke, a little bit of execute in the form of Riptire, and also another Mosh Interrupt. Ah, okay. Prove me wrong. Brightwing and Li Ming instead. Of course, both of those heroes do have the opportunity to interrupt Mosh, so it will be a tough game if it is a Mosh Pit game for the ETC player. Last two picks going over to Animaniacs. They still might want another frontline and another DPS, but it's pretty flexible at this point. Rexar Nazebo. Okay, so they are all in on the scaling. Plenty happy to wait till 20 with the Nazebo pickup. Vial Infection is a huge damage spike if you get there. But with Sylvanas and Anubarak and Li Ming, they've got a lot of teamfight power on the side of Clouded Minds. So if they're able to lock in the early game, Sonya rounding out their draft. Okie doke. Let's take a look here as we get into game number 3 on Volskaya. Vala and Nazebo both scale really hard into the late game. However, ETC I don't think scales as well, nor does Rexar as far as front lines are concerned. So if Anubarak is able to set up these Li Ming resets, and assuming that Animaniacs opt for team fighting, of course, Clouded Minds draft is definitely the one I favor of the two. With that said, you know, Nazebo will be able to do a lot of split pushing, so it might be that Ana Maniacs aren't at all interested in taking those 5v5s until we get to level 20. We'll have to find out when they play the game. So let's get into it. The final game of the series, and introducing our teams for the final time. We've got Ana Maniacs here on the left, Sir Watson playing Anduin, Sodium on the ETC, Django playing Bala, Asmodon Trump on Nazebo, and Brickets playing Rexar. And to the right in red, we've got Clouded Minds, Ruffian playing Li Ming, Kian on Anubarak, Muffin Man on Brightwing, Terrorsaur on Sylvanas, and Juggerob playing Sonya. As we get into the first wave of the game, we can check in on our level 1 talents. Stacking on almost all fronts for Ana Maniacs, Prog Rock, Creed of the Hunter, and Widowmakers, the Spider build for Asmodon Trump. An early wave clear advantage going over to Clouded Minds. Looks like only 4 stacks for the baseline Voodoo Ritual for Asmodon Trump. The wave getting eliminated a little too quickly for them to get all of their stacks. Sodium trying their best to zone off that first globe. This early rotation advantage is definitely going to help Ana Maniacs get the scaling done that they need to, giving Clouded Minds as few opportunities as possible to interact with them and threaten their relatively sensitive HP pools. We've already got Django working on this turret camp, Terrorsaur, Muffin Man, and friends doing the same on this other side. Experience pretty much neck and neck here, a little bit ahead for the side of Ana Maniacs, but it's just a fraction. Both teams will likely reach their level 4 talents simultaneously. We've got Kian going in, gets the stun onto 2. Sodium will receive the Leap of Faith. So Anduin able to save ETC there. And a quick rotation up from Brickets will be the green light for Ana Maniacs to start up this heal camp. A lot of damage going on to Misha, but Juggerob doesn't make the rotation, instead opting to freeze this wave down here, trying to deny as much experience to the Rexar as possible. I don't know if that's a winning trade, given how much mercenary experience that camp provides. Level 4 talents on both sides. It is Possession for Terrorsaur rather than Mercenary Queen. Another strong choice, absolutely, for setting up side lane pushes. We've got Triumvirate for Li Ming, which gives you the, yes, the cooldown reduction on your Arcane Orbs. Any other important talents here at level 4? Magic Spit for Brightwing at level 4. Cooldown reduction on their Soothing Mist cleanse. I don't know if it's fair to call it a cleanse, as it's just CC removal and not a true unstoppable. First objective channel goes over to Ana Maniacs. There's the stun chain onto Sodium. They're able to power slide to safety. And there's the phase shift. So looks like Clouded Minds are pretty committed to keeping the push going with their siege camp still alive. Objective progress has been halted, with both offlaners opting to pop down to the bot lane to pick up that experience. Terrorsaur keeping the push going with these possessed minions. They're also committing the black arrows and a turret for this top fort wall. So Asmodon Trump rotates in from the side, but they're very low on mana. One tower goes down, and there's still a couple minions and a siege camp alive. With Anubarak Beetles, looks like just a sliver of HP left on that fort. Ruffian will finish it off with one last round of magic missiles. Of course, this is giving Brickets the opportunity to get more objective channel. Over 50% thus far. Django taking a full combo from Ruffian there. And once again, we've got the experience in the lead for Ana Maniacs. We can see that's thanks to a higher level of minion XP. Looks like Brickets is getting more minion XP than Juggerob on the other side of things. I didn't even talk about level 7 talents. It is Zai's Vengeance at level 7. Stun Polymorph combo goes onto the Sodium. They have to drop the Biotic Emitter. Kian caught in the zombie wall, and there's overtime triggered. So this split push from CM gets about a third of the fort in top lane, but they are still behind on their way to the heroic talent tier, and they are definitely far behind on securing this first objective. No one's going to contest it. Misha will lock it in for the first protector going over to Ana Maniacs right as they pick up their heroics. We've got Mosh Pit, Rain of Vengeance, Ravenous Spirit, and Unleash the Boars. Anduin still thinking about it. Last time we saw Sir Watson on the Anduin, they went for the Holy Word Salvation. I'm not sure it was the best choice in Game 1, and I don't know if it would be the best choice here, but it was something that they were comfortable on last time round. The Protector able to get that front wall, but all the while Clouded Minds got busy on the top side, finishing off that fort. So with heroic talents in their hand, they're kind of ahead structurally at this point. We saw the Cocoon land onto Asmodon Trump, who was using the Ravenous Spirit. There is the first Protector taken out, and a completion for Sodium's level 1 Prog Rock. Clouded Minds heroics. We've got Cocoon, we've got Disintegration, not Annihilation. Blink Heal for Muffin Man, Pterosaur opting for Mind Control, and Leap for Juggerob. So lots and lots of potential interrupts for Mosh Pit. Sodium's going to have a tough time getting a full duration Mosh this game if Clouded Minds are heads up with those options. And despite my prediction that Ana Maniacs might look to split push and scale up towards 20, it looks like Clouded Minds are the ones who are more interested in that. No Polymorph, so it looks like Kian will go down, Unleash the Boars by Brickets, and a Misha stun onto Pterosaur. Misha goes down, and Pterosaur gets the Haunting Wave out. So despite having lots of answers to the Mosh Pit, the Mosh goes off without any interruption, securing Ana Maniacs' first kill and first kill of the game. It's going to give them the opportunity to do some counter siege damage here. Nazeebo has already completed their Widowmakers at level 1 and is very far towards the 175 stacks needed. Juggerob in, oh my gosh, every single heroic used on Sir Watson. They go down. Ruffian gets to land the full combo onto Sodium, but it looks like ETC will make it out alive without too much trouble. It's another Holy Word Salvation game. Sir Watson is a brave Anduin heroic player. I wouldn't grab it in this scenario, but they, I believe, are thus far undefeated this season, so they may have the special sauce that I don't know about. A double stun on Polymorph follow-up. Sodium falls down below 100, and that's going to do it. ETC goes down, and we'll see. There's the black arrows from Pterosaur. Would love to see another stun combo. There's the follow-up with the Mind Control. A great pull. Gets Django out. They had to drop the turret, however, but it's not going to be enough to save the fort, I don't think. Kian likely to trade their life for it. But the rest of Clouded Mines are going to make it out alive. So I think if you're Kian, you're definitely calling worth on that. You'll trade your life for a fort anytime. Level 13's on both sides. We've got Glass Cannon from Li Ming. So if Brickett's / Misha's name, Bricket Sisha? I don't know how you would... That was dumb. Ignore that. If Sodium and Brickets are able to get onto the Li Ming, Ruffian could be in a world of hurt, especially with Ravenous Spirit having such a long cast range. Even just a Misha stun with the Dire Beast aspect of the Beast combo means that Ana Maniacs can put a lot of pressure onto Ruffian on the Li Ming. Ana Maniacs still ahead towards the next talent tier. We can see that's thanks to both their Mercenary and Minion XP advantage. Despite doing a lot of split pushing and getting 2 forts in the process, Clouded Mines have not been doing as good a job collecting minions. So they are still trailing towards 16s, unlocking them now. At 16, it's a full orb build, Arcane Orbit for Ruffian. We've also got Manticore from Django, able to put a lot more pressure onto the already squishy HP pool of Kian on the Anubarak. Juggerob is scouted by Misha. Django under the fort goes down. Sir Watson too close to get an effective pull. Sodium goes in, Mosh is on 3, but that's the leap immediately interrupting. Pterosaur takes the Haunting Wave in, very aggressive, gets the reset, but will fall to a couple autos. Brickets takes out the Sylvanas. So 2-for-1 trade, but in the end it does go to Clouded Mines' favor and puts them ahead on the race to Storm Talents. Looks like all of the collectible items on the battleground were also committed in that push. The nice thing about having Kian is even with Pterosaur in the graveyard, Clouded Mines get to keep pushing thanks to the Anubarak Beetles, that trait giving them another opportunity to manufacture siege. And so they've almost completely taken out the top keep wall, which, well softened, means that this protector could take out the first keep of the game. Ana Maniacs have not been able to take out a single structure on the side of Clouded Mines. So passive experience will continue to favor our red team. A quick pause there. We'll see if we can't figure out what's going on while they figure stuff out. But it's pretty neck and neck towards the heroic talent tier. Nazebo is definitely on pace to have Vial Infection stacked. And once stacked, Clouded Mines have a lot more damage that they're going to have to contend with. Vala has not had as many opportunities to stack on heroes as she would have liked, with Clouded Mines running around the battleground and doing the split pushing, only having secured 64 stacks on her level 1 Creed of the Hunter thus far. But with Nazebo at 164 towards Vial Infection, they are definitely going to be stacked by the time they hit level 20. Of course, with the Protector going over to Clouded Mines here, they might look to push to core. Pterosaur has respawned on Sylvanas, so once they make it up to top lane, they'll be able to push 5v5. Of course, pushing with the Protector, standing next to the Protector, can be pretty tricky. It's one of the objectives that is relatively easy to dive past, with 2 of your heroes committed to the vehicle. So it's always kind of an open question who's best to go in it. Right now, it looks like Clouded Minds have opted for Sonya and Li Ming in the Protector. So both Brightwing and Anubarak remain out of it. They've got their own mobility tools. They've got cleanse and stuns for peel. So it makes a lot of sense, but even so, if the Animaniacs look to dive past the objective, you know, if we see the Unleash the Boars from the from Brickets, followed up by a big mosh from Sodium, we could see the Vala and Nazebo take out some heroes. Looks like we're back into the game, so without further delay. And this is the dynamic I was describing. It's tough with only 2 heroes around for Clouded Minds to step up confidently here. Pterosaur is getting a lot of siege done here in mid, trading both their heroic and the Nazebo heroic there. Asmodon Trump is going to have to watch out, taking a lot of damage from Sylvanas here, with Muffin Man getting in. The Mosh Pit goes on to Kian, and with no phase shift available, they'll go down. So far from home, Clouded Minds might lose an additional 2 here. Ruffian is probably going to make it out alive. Juggerab gets the leap over the wall, but I think the fort is going to turn back on. They're going to try and trade their life for another structure, but in the end, they'll fall. So this puts our teams back neck and neck towards their Storm talents. Animaniacs slightly ahead, in fact. And Django was able to get a lot of stacks on that Protector, already up to over 100 stacks, which grants 2 quest rewards, I believe, for the Creed of the Hunter. And Asmodon Trump has done a lot of scaling on their own, up to 207 stacks on the Voodoo Ritual, each stack granting them additional HP, so they're getting very, very tanky. And there's no percent damage available to Clouded Minds, with Pterosaur opting for Might of the Banshee Queen at level 1. Animaniacs steal away the Heel Camp. Ruffian sidesteps the Misha stun. A optimistic use of Unleash the Boars from Brickets will not stop Clouded Minds from escaping there. And so I think it's pretty close here. Clouded Minds are still advantaged structurally, but in the end, they're not going to be even talent tier here. They're going to have to just turtle up, kind of run away from Animaniacs, who are doing a great job staying out of vision here. Juggerab showing on mid lane a somewhat precarious position, but Storm talents have unlocked on all sides. It's light of Stormwind, so if Sir Watson is able to get full channels on these heroics, it's going to be a lot of power, but they have not been able to succeed on that front much thus far. Asmodon Trump not opting for Vile Infection, Juggerab looking for the rest of Animaniacs and scouts them Hearthing. So yeah, it's Ravenous Spirit, or rather Annihilating Spirit, the Ravenous Spirit upgrade for the Nazebo at level 20. It's kill command for Brickets on Rexar. Not surprising to see that pickup there, turning an AoE slow into an AoE root. It's a pretty large pickup. And Dark Lady's Call for Pterosaur is going to be a big power spike. They've been able to put a lot of pressure onto Ana Maniacs thus far with their heroic usage already. There is the kill command issued. We'll see if Muffin Man uses the cleanse. Sodium in the cocoon. There's a pause. An unfortunate time for a pause, too. A really neck-and-neck fight, it looks like. We'll see what's going on here. Looks like we lost the Vala connection. A very unfortunate time for a pause in the middle of such a hectic fight. But I don't know how well Ana Maniacs are going to weather this storm. Yeah. I'm not sure if Rewind is still available to key in, but assuming that it is, Ruffian and Pterosaur are likely going to have a field day here while ETC remains in this cocoon. Very unfortunate time for the Django DC, unfortunately. So with any luck, they'll be back very shortly. Once again, I am so surprised. I know that Annihilating Spirit is an excellent talent. The increased damage it does and the reduced healing it does, both very powerful. But I would think the damage increase from Vial Infection would be the selection nonetheless. All right, looks like we are back in it. A Great Leap of Faith gets Osmodon Trump out, and there's the Mosh onto 2, interrupted by Kian. Invulnerable, and a full Light of Stormwind goes off. All right, so Sir Watson gets the save. Ruffian falling low will go down. Kian, the next likely to fall. Muffin Man falling low as well. So Ruffian did go down, and Django's chasing on with the Farflight Quiver. Kian likely the next target. They will go down. Dark Lady's Call catches Misha, but I think Animaniacs are likely to keep pushing here, trying to go to core. It's going to be a tough defense for Clouded Minds. 3v5, another root, and no cleanse available for Muffin Man. Another Dark Lady's Call lands on Misha. Django draws Fort Aggro, but there's another Light of Stormwind. Full channel for Sir Watson. Looks like we've got Animaniacs looking here at this mid-keep rather than trying to push to core. Still about 20 seconds before Anubarak spawns back up, and Pterosaur can do a pretty good job of slowing these pushes down thanks to the possession at level 4. So a double keep play for Animaniacs rather than trying to press to core. I guess they're just looking for their heroics to come back online. And, of course, that definitely puts the Battleground in their favor. They've got constant catapult pressure into lanes. It's a real razor's edge here at level 20. Kian caught in the stun once again, will go down. A big leap lands onto 4, but no one to interrupt the Light of Stormwind once again, so both frontliners going down for Animaniacs. Not enough range on any of the interrupts for the Mosh. Ruffian is able to blink to safety, so both of the DPS for Clouded Minds remain alive and able to fend off this push. There's the stun onto Pterosaur, who pops the Will of the Forsaken, gets back into the core, but there's the core shielding taking a lot of damage. Pterosaur will go down here. And that's likely to be the game unless Ruffian makes an absolute massive play. Light of Stormwind will secure it. That's game 3 in the books. GG, well played to the Ana Maniacs. An absolute nail-biter there at the end, but Ana Maniacs were able to turn it around in those last seconds of those all-important team fights. Absolute massive plays, and Sir Watson really making that level 20 shine. Let's take a look at our stats and builds here. Absolute massive healing numbers from Sir Watson, thanks largely once again to the Light of Stormwind. Outpacing Muffin Man on the Brightwing. I'm surprised, but it worked out in their favor. Checking in on the builds, it was Tour Bus for Sodium. Never had to use that, but it's always a fun one to see. I hope Clouded Minds don't feel like they're the victim of a untimely pause. All right, so let's pull up our post-series look here as I try and wrangle an interview. An excellent series, really close from both of our teams, and this just goes to show how balanced our divisions can be. The second place team and the 7th place team definitely neck and neck there. Let's see. The Maniacs. See if I can't snag an interview here. Game 1, an exciting one. We got to see Brax's holdout. It's an uncommon one for... Hello, hello. It's good. Let me just get over to my interview scene so everyone can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome in, and GG, well played.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It got a little spicy.
Oh, it absolutely did. I was not sure how it was going to go there at the end, especially with that late game pause, the DC from Django. Were y'all thinking it's so over at that point? What's it like?
Well, here's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they cocooned our dude.
Mhm.
That's bad.
Mhm.
And they were killing Nazebo.
Mhm.
That's bad. And they were killing Misha. That's bad. And Rexar wasn't too safe either. He's got feigned death, but that's not ideal either. So we said, quick, Django, disconnect. And so he disconnected as quick as he could, and then we paused. No, it was a nightmare, because then the one guy who wasn't under attack disconnected. So thankfully we had quick fingers, not for dodging abilities apparently, but for hitting pause. So that was really huge. That fight was crazy. They made a really great engage. Also, we were chasing them,
Mhm.
and I, like a silly cat, went under the terrain. So I was separated from the team. I don't know if you noticed, but I was able to get back in time and pull Nazebo with, I think, 1 health left. It might have been 3 health left.
It was certainly single-digit HP.
Yeah, and that's not ideal. That's not ideal. I think the big thing that was different between post-20 fights and pre-20 fights was that they just were using their CC not on the invuln. Sorry, not on the on the Anduin heroic, and that really enabled us to sustain, which was big. Rexar obviously is so good post 20 because it turns those boars into a root, so they couldn't get away. So when they were thinking of getting away, that's when we got really bullish, and it did end up working out.
Yeah, awesome. And you had some really huge Light of Stormwind procs at the end there.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, able to really push your way through that top lane. I don't want to keep you around for too much longer. I know you're booked for a double header tonight, so
you know it, man.
That'll be it for questions from me. Before I let you go, any shout-outs you want to give? The floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to you, man. We love when our games are casted. It means the world. Shout out to the other team. They played really freaking great. They really messed us up. Game 2 was just a nightmare ending. They just had a lot of push. They did a really good job pushing where we weren't. In fact, post 20, the other thing I would say is that we just said there is no objective. There is no objective because they were doing a really good job of pushing wherever we weren't. So we're just like, we're never going to safely get the objective, so let's just go find them and kill them, and thankfully that worked out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so shout out to them because they played freaking great, made us make a lot of adjustments, and most of all, shout out to you, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And shout out to my mother.
And moms everywhere.
Yeah, moms everywhere.
We love you, moms.
Not just my mother. Yeah, all moms. All
Great.
moms
Well,
everywhere.
thank you, Sir Watson. You have a great evening, and good luck on your next one.
Thank you, man. I can't wait to watch your cast. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Take it easy. So that'll do it for our series here. A absolute nail biter going down to the wire there. Really well played to both of our teams. And before I get going, I need to give some shout outs of my own. Thank you all for tuning in. It's always great to see all of the folks who show up and cheer on our NGS squads. And also a huge shout out to all of the artists, musicians, and programmers whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look anywhere near as good without all of their contributions, and you can find links to all of their work below the video here, as well as in a credit roll after I sign off here. Until next time, you've all been excellent. Good luck and have fun. Peace and love.